Hey guys, it's Cal and Sean from Team ChainBlock here, back again with a new deck profile.
Hi guys, just a quick one before we get into the deck profile. Won't you please like, comment and smash that subscribe button, as we're still trying to get to 1400 subscribers and beat out some local competition and be the biggest Yu-Gi tubers in our very own UnderWorld Gaming. Alliance Insight is here, so obviously go over, check the links in our description where you'll find the link to Kong's cards, and you can use our discount code ChainBlock5 for 5% off all your current and future purchases. There's a new Red Eyes card in there, there's new Adignister stuff, there is some boss cards in there that you should desperately be trying to get your hands on and save yourself some money at checkout. Let's get straight back in to the deck profile.
Sean, you're revisiting an old one. What are we profiling today?
We're bringing back one of my all-time favorite decks, the dies immediately to one Masquerade. It's Dinomorphia. This deck came out a long time ago, and it's had like fringe playability since it came out. But like recently it started getting the odd top at tournaments and stuff. So I just wanted to put my hat in the ring with the list I've been using. Haven't had a chance to take it to a regional or anything, but I'm pretty confident in the list.
Do you want to point out to the people watching as well how much you actually paid for this?
So when Theritzia came out, this deck wasn't playable yet because we didn't have Frenzy, and these were like €40.
Oh, that's criminal.
Yeah, no, and Domain wasn't cheap either. So yeah, we'll get right into it. Obviously, you play 3 Theritzia. When this is normally special, you set a Dinomorphia trap directly from deck, so it can't be ashed. And then if your life points are 2k or less, which it pretty much always will be after turn 1, it gains 500 attack, which can come up because it's 2k normal summon. And then they all have a floating effect when they're popped. This one can banish a trap from grave to special level 4 or lower Dinomorphia from grave. So it's pretty solid.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty great way to recycle your engine pieces, to be honest.
We've got 2 Diplos. So what this one does is, when he's normal or special, you can send a Dinomorphia card from deck to grave. Then if your life points are 2000 or less, burn your opponent for 5. And if he's destroyed, you can banish trap from grave to special level 4 or lower from grave as well.
Oh, I see. Why not 3 of this one?
Okay, so you need a certain amount of these in deck to use the traps, because they fuse using material from deck. But this card is really bad to just summon. So you want copies in deck, but you don't want them in hand.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I get
5 seems to be the sweet spot. You could definitely play 6. Realistically, this deck just needs legacy support where we get one more name that's like good.
Yeah.
And it's a really strong contender.
I see what you mean.
The other thing is, it's like, I like the second because you get to make rank 4s and stuff. I'll show you some stuff later in the profile.
Yeah, class.
So that is the main deck monsters.
Nice.
So onto the traps, which is a lot of the deck.
Yeah.
We've got 3 Frenzy and 3 Domain. These are your fusion spells, or traps. So they each pay half your life for cost. This one lets you fusion using a monster from your deck and a monster from your extra deck. And then this one does it with both materials from deck.
And this is one that came out later.
Sorry, it can do hand, deck, or field.
And this is the one that came out later, correct?
Yeah, this came out 1 set later, I think.
Alright.
Then both of these have the effect, actually all of their normal traps have the effect that you can banish it from grave while your life points are 2k or less. To make you not take effect damage from your opponent's cards this turn. So because you're constantly halving your life, it's just a way to make sure you don't die to like sparks.
Yeah.
So for the other Dinomorphia stuff, we've got 3 Intact. This is also a legacy support. This is the most recent card they got. This card's unbelievable.
That's a counter trap.
So it's a counter trap. When a monster effect is activated while you control a Dinomorphia card, pay half your life, negate the activation. Then, if you take battle damage this turn, the damage taken becomes half your life points at the time. Also, the counter traps all share the effect of banishing them from grave to stop you from taking battle damage instead of effect damage.
Oh, that's actually pretty
So the counter traps,
yeah.
A lot of people play a low amount of them. I really like them. This one's actually good. I used to be on more Sonic, which is the next card here. Sonic is a spell trap card in the game. Also pays half your life, also has the no battle damage effect.
Yeah, so I'm assuming just this one is just the better one.
Yeah, this is like solemn. It's very, very good.
Yeah, that's just the better one.
Then we've got the 1 Brute. Pay half your life, destroy a Dinomorphia monster you control, and 1 card your opponent controls.
Yeah,
it's just solid removal.
Yeah.
And again, you just want like a searchable. Since Theritzia can get all of these, you just want like a searchable answer to everything.
Yeah,
These also are all like recyclable. I'll explain that when we get to the extra. And then we got the 1 of Alert. So this is like the deck's follow-up. You pay half your life. You special up to 2 Dinomorphias from your grave whose total levels equal 8 or less. And then you can't attack with them, and you can't special summon from the rest of the turn except Dinomorphias. So the way you get to your rank 4s usually is like you'll flip this on your opponent's turn in the end phase, summon back 2 of the level 4s, overload them. But you can also use it to revive your fusions.
That's good as well. Yeah,
it's really good.
As someone who's played against this deck, I know the fusions are a killer.
They're absolutely insane. We've got 3 Solemn Judgment. It's an Omni that pays half your life. It's counter trap.
it's the
best card. Yeah.
It's just a Dinomorphia card.
Similarly, we've got 3 Iron Thunder. I'm missing 1. So this, when a spell trap card or monster effect is activated on the field, so it's not quite as good, but it has extra utility. You pay half your life, negate the activation, then destroy that card, then destroy any other cards in that column.
Oh god, base some column destruction is crazy.
It hits both players in the column, which means you can trigger your Dinomorphia's float effects off of this, which sometimes comes up if they're negated.
Yeah, that's base. That's actually really good.
It's very nice. So that's it for the counters. You'll notice everything here has pay half-life printed on it, which is the thesis of the deck.
Yeah.
So then for the normal traps, because obviously this is a control deck, 3 Trap Trick, this is just access to everything.
Yeah.
It's very important in this deck because your branded fusions are traps.
Yeah.
So you want access to them turn 1 every single game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're on 3 Soul of the Supreme King. I love this card in this deck.
Tell me, what does this one do?
So you pay half your life and you special summon 1 Supreme King Zerk from your extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Its effects are negated and it's returned to the extra deck during the end phase of the turn. So that is just like a big 4K body that does nothing, but it pays half your life to do that. Yeah. The second effect is what matters. When your opponent activates a spell card or effect, you can banish this from grave and a face-up Supreme King Zerk from your monster zone, and special summon up to 1 each of a Pendulum Dragon, Xyz Dragon, Synchro Dragon, or Fusion Dragon monster from your hand, deck, extra, or grave. We have 2 targets for this. I don't think you need to play more than 2. I'll show you them when we get to the extra.
You don't have to summon
It's up to. You don't have to do a 4. You can do 1 if you want.
That is ridiculous.
I think doing 2 is the best way to sort of capitalize off it, especially because the specific 2 we're playing kind of set up a pseudo lock on their own.
Yeah, we'll check that out when we get to the extra.
Yeah, and then for the last normal trap, 3 Ferret Flames.
Ferret Flames.
This is a classic. I remember before they reprinted this in, I think it was the Crystal Beast structure deck.
It was.
It was a nightmare to get a hold of these.
Yeah, I remember you going on damn near a Hobbit's journey to find these cards, man.
So this card is insane. If the combined attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls is higher than your life points, make your opponent shuffle monsters they control into the deck. It's their choice, but not like that matters. So that the combined attack of the remaining monsters they control is less than or equal to your life points. By halfway through your opponent's turn on turn 1, this is a board wipe. It's like, it affects player and it shuffles. It's better evenly in this deck. So it's unbelievable.
If you pop this after you pop off with a bunch of your other trap cards, you can just flip this and like have nothing left.
Yeah, because like because they all have, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'll pay down to 4 for the first one, down to 2, down to 1. So let's say we've only activated 3 traps. This makes your opponent shuffle back every monster they control if they don't have 1 less than 1,000 attack. And it affects player.
That's silly. That's so funny.
Not to mention, it's unbelievable. Like, if you're going second, you just trap trick this after you like do your combo, because they're all life points for cost.
Yeah.
So even if your opponent's negating your interaction, you just do this last and board wipe. It's insane.
That's nuts. This is quick play Raigeki.
A lot of people played Duality in this deck. Currently, we're kind of in a droll format, especially with like 7 Tachyon and the Fiendsmith stuff. As well as the fact that I like being able to summon on my turn past turn 1.
Yeah.
So as much as that card is good, I just don't think this is the format for it specifically. So the only consistency power I'm playing is Pot of Prosperity. So I should mention I'm not playing Fossil Dig for the same reason.
Yeah.
Fossil Dig's also kind of weirdly bad in this deck, because as much as it's access to Theritia, if you don't draw Theritia, it like removes a name from the deck, and you want those for the grind game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Prosp is very good. You kind of have the freedom to do it from the extra, especially if you don't see Soul, and you know you're not going into that game, because that's like 3 free banishes.
Yeah, that's
And this just like digs deep enough. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's Prosp. Like, you don't really need a warrant to run Prosp. It's consistency card.
It's also like the one of, like,
Yeah.
you might as well.
Yeah.
And then for the hand traps, the only other monster we are playing is 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. And then because we're on a trap deck, we are on 3 Imperm and 3 Dominus Impulse. They're all darks.
Oh, that's key.
They're all darks. It's perfect.
I'm assuming all the extra are darks as well. Then.
Almost entirely.
Almost
There's a couple that conflict, but nothing that will affect your like need to play this.
Yeah.
I also think 9 is a nice number in a deck like this, because like a lot of your interaction is coming from normal traps regardless.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go like crazy, and it's like Furniture Lab, like they play like 9 to 12 usually.
Yeah, I think decks like this that play a more like consistently calm board state and just kind of rely on your opponent doing stuff first. Kind of it warrants them playing less hand traps more than a combo deck playing 15 to 18 hand traps and then killing your opponent's turn after.
Yeah, especially because this kind of sits on a floodgate to a degree.
Yeah.
It's less obnoxious than like Tikaboo, but like not by much. So for the extract, we've got our Dinomorphia engine. 3 Kentragina, 2 Rexsturm, and 2 Stealth Burgia. Stealth Burgia is the bad one.
Yeah.
But you need 1 to send for Frenzy, because someone's using deck and extra.
Yeah.
And you still kind of want 1 in there in case it comes up.
This one is the bane of my existence.
Yeah, so I'll explain them from sort of worst to best. So this guy, while your life points are 2,000 or less, you do not pay life points to activate trap cards or Dinomorphia monster effects. I hate that effect.
Yeah.
It's good if you play Strike. I don't think you should play Strike in this deck. What it does is it stops you from halving your life again and again, which you actually want to do.
Yeah.
The good effect it has is when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can burn them for that monster's original attack.
Oh, that's actually decent, yeah.
And then, that effect does come up. It's really nice for closing out games, because this deck does decent damage, but it struggles to OTK.
Yeah, it struggles for it to get the kill.
So like that and Diplos having the little burn effects often help you kind of close it.
Yeah.
And also, like all of them, they float. This one floats into a level 4 or lower. Kentragina. This is probably the most important card, even if it's not the boss monster. You'll notice it's got a massive 4k attack. It loses attack equal to your life points.
Yeah.
As a continuous effect. That does mean if this gets negated though, it's back up to 4 because it's the original attack.
Nice.
So once per turn during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can pay half your life and banish a Dinomorphia normal trap from grave and copy this effect. So this card's effect becomes that trap's effect when it's activated.
Oh, nice.
So 1 fusion trap, you make this, copy the fusion trap, make this.
Oh, nice. So it just guarantees you the second.
But also all of your interaction pieces, like the pop of Dinomorphia, pop card your opponent controls, all this, you can copy it.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
That's a good little consistency piece to have in the extra.
It's really, really good. That's why we're on 3 of this.
Yeah.
You never ever want to run out of this. Also, the third it's an easy cross banish like this.
Yeah.
I rarely, if ever, banish a Rexsturm because you always want the 2 just to be safe there. And then, of course, this pops in, floats when it's popped into a level 4 lower.
Yeah.
And then Rexsturm, this is our boss monster. So this requires both of these require 2 Dinomorphias with different names. This requires a Dinomorphia fusion monster and a Dinomorphia monster. That's why you can only summon this with Frenzy or by copying Domain with Kentragina.
Yeah.
So you can summon this straight away if you draw Frenzy, but if you draw Domain, you have to do this, copy Domain, and then summon this.
Yeah.
Which is why Frenzy is so much better. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters they control that have attack greater than or equal to your life points.
What a silly.
It's one-sided skill drain. It's incredible. Can't attempt to activate. It's even better than skill drain. Skill drain lets you attempt to like pay cost and stuff. You normal summon Neptibus, Like, thank God it's 0. You know,
Yeah.
you normal summon Kaleido Chick, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Then, as a quick effect, you can pay half your life. The attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls become equal to your life points until the end of the turn.
Oh, that's
So this
mad.
this does like triple duty.
Oh,
Firstly,
that's
your life
mad.
points are always low, and you're paying, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sure this guy, he's 3k, can always get over this. Not to mention it's like lowering if you have a Kentrigino up as well.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it makes them equal to your life points, and his Floodgate effect is monsters that have greater or equal. So even a 0 attack monster like their Neptibus, you activate this effect, it still can't activate its effect at all.
Yo, that's crazy.
So your opponent summons Sage with Eyes of Blue, your opponent summons Neptibus, you just immediately do this effect on someone.
Yeah, they're just cooked then.
And then finally, because it's attack modulation, you can do this in damage step.
That's madness. What a card.
Yep.
What a card. That's like the boss monster that most archetypes just dream of.
Oh my god, like and look at the art. It's a robot dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like you gotta love it. And then the other thing is this float effect lets you go into a level 6 or lower, because this is the level 8.
Yeah.
So if you, for example, summon the Kentrigina properly, copy the domain, send it. When this gets destroyed, you can bring back the Kentrigina.
Oh, that's actually handy. That's really good.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. Then we have Lagia and Dolka. Let me be very clear here. You only play one of these. It's completely dealer's choice which one you think you'd rather play. But the other one, you actually play Gallant Granite instead for side deck cards.
Yeah, okay.
I'll explain it when we get there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
you
so-
play one of these. I personally much prefer Lagia, but some
yeah,
people like Dolka.
I prefer Lagia personally.
Supreme King Zark.
The Zark, yeah.
You summon this off the trap. Then our 2 targets for the trap. We've got Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon.
What on earth? Right, tell me about it. What's it do?
It doesn't matter except for 2 things, right? When it's fusion summoned, which it isn't, right?
Yeah.
So you can ignore that half, right? Negate the activated effects of monsters with 0 attack.
Oh man,
This plus Rexroom literally turns off every monster in the game.
that is mental.
Even without using Rexroom's effect.
Yes, that
Yeah.
just turns off all the monsters that you couldn't turn off with the Rexroom without using the effect of the Rexroom. So you can save that for the damage step if you need to. That's crazy.
And then a beautiful Ghost Rare, courtesy of you, thank you, Callum.
No problem.
This is Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. This is almost 2 negates. It's once per turn when a spell or trap card or effect is activated. Thank God it's effect as well.
Yeah.
It can hit face ups. You can negate the activation, then destroy that card. Perfect. Then, if this Synchro Summon card you control is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can add any wind monster from deck to hand. It's not Synchro Summon, unfortunately. It'd be lovely to like add a draw post side or something.
Yeah.
But also, once per turn when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can activate this effect until the end of turn. This face-up card is unaffected by activated monster effects. And then it gains attack equal to that monster's attack. So
Yeah.
it's a spell negate that's like impossible to out, basically.
Yeah, I remember when that one dropped and I read it and I was like, I have to play Speed Roids. This
Yeah,
card
yeah.
is so
But
crazy.
this deck loves it because you just get it for
yeah,
free.
you don't have to do anything.
And then the last 3 are utility slots. We're on Dark Charmer. Notably, all of your engine has 1500 or less defense because they're 0 defense.
Yeah, that's actually really
So either of these can be searched off it. And then obviously reviving your opponent's Dark Monster, pretty good.
Yeah.
You only make this when you need it.
Yeah, I assume so.
SP Little Knight, of course.
Yeah,
It's a Dark Link too.
Everyone's favorite Link 2.
And then you normal summon your Theritia, it gets impermed.
Yeah.
Typhon.
Yeah.
It's Typhon.
There's Plan B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, this does conflict with Rexstorm if you get to it though.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. 'cause,
So you summon this. It's not even Plan B. It's like Plan D, but it comes up.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then finally, the side deck. I mentioned Gallant Granite. We're on quite a few rock monsters. 3 Nibiru, high impact hand trap. And importantly, like a lot of decks have to kind of combo to get to an OTK, especially when they're under floodgates and stuff. So searching this past turn 1 is like fine.
Yeah.
Whereas every other hand trap, you kind of like they do have an impact on the game, but not as drastic.
Yeah.
3 Heavenly Prison. This is the more important one.
Heavenly Prison.
Reveal it. Your opponent cannot pop set cards, and then when you activate a set card, you can summon them and set anything from deck. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, great for any trap deck.
Great for any trap deck, but this deck in particular, because like setting something from deck is full engine access.
Yeah.
You can grab your domain, you can grab your frenzy, you can grab any of the utility pieces. 3 deck lockdown. This is something I'm testing right now. This has come up, especially for being a floodgate, not a trap. I've been eradicated called trap in this deck a lot, and this has come up. Obviously that's kind of niche.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it just says neither player can add cards from deck to hand except by drawing them. Your Dinomorphias set the cards, they don't add them. Trap Trick sets the cards, it doesn't add them. Similarly, monsters can't be special summoned from the main deck. You don't do that.
Yeah.
You use them as material, send them to grave from the main deck. Finally, 2 Ice Dragon's Prison. I just like this card. I think it's really good off Trap Trick, and in certain matchups, it just kind of eats the deck alive.
Yeah.
Back in the day, this was like the best card into Math Mech when I was playing Lab. Circular's back, it might come up again, you know? We've got the 1 Rivalry of Warlords. You could play like way more than one of Floodgates, but I think like Rexturn does a good enough job on its own.
Yeah, I think that you only need to add the 1 or 2 extras in just to be sure, you know.
Yeah, and then the last card is 3 Evenly. Like I said, this deck is pretty bad at OTKing, so you don't hate losing the 1 battle phase.
Yeah.
You clear a bunch of stuff off your opponent's board. Like, obviously they've been hit, but they're still around. Ryziel. You do this, and like they got a detonator, pop their own detonator, you get rid of the field spell. Like,
Yeah.
it's into most decks, it's just such a heavy advantage when you start with this going second, which you really need because your going second plan is to set a bunch of traps, and you don't want them popped in your end phase.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the deck. I think it's a super underrated rogue contender, and it shuts off a lot of very strong meta decks. Rexstrom's a house on its own.
Yeah, Rexstrom is the card that whenever I come up against you, playing this deck specifically, Rexstrom was always the card I just struggled out.
Yeah,
really
it's nutty, especially because it floats back into something that can summon the second Rexstrom.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the deck profile. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace.